Boys and girls, welcome back to the math book, and this is not a mistake. It says Chapter 12, Lesson 1. We are jumping around a little bit. We actually don't have too many chapters left in the book. Um, this one is going to be a little bit different because none of you have these pages yet. I am going to post them. If you don't have a printer or if you're having printer trouble, let me know and we will try to work something out. Now, chapter 12 is also my favorite because we get to talk about shapes. So our big question, our essential question is, how can I use shapes in equal parts? We're going to be talking a lot about these things, and you'll probably get to see some colorful slides throughout this chapter. Shapes are really important. It's really important to know how they fit together. Triangles are a huge part of what you'll be doing later because with triangles you can make lots of other things. So I'm going to show you a few pages from your book which you don't have yet. Don't worry about that. When it's time, we'll figure out a way to make sure everybody has them. For now, we're basically watching. There will be a homework assignment at the end, and the pages are posted either in an email or on PowerSchool for you. Okay, let's go. So we're going to be talking for a couple of days about two-dimensional shapes. Now, if you've watched the other video that I posted, you know that two-dimensional shapes are basically flat. They don't have any depth. They're just, we can measure how long they are and how wide they are. That's it. So this square is a two-dimensional shape. If we add more parts to it, like this, it becomes a cube. And this is three-dimensional. Okay, when it's two-dimensional, we can only measure this and this. When it's three-dimensional, we can also measure how far back it goes, okay, how deep it is. So then we call it three-dimensional. We're going to talk about three-dimensional shapes later, maybe near the end of next week, maybe a little bit after that. This triangle, is it a two-dimensional or three-dimensional shape? Okay, it is two-dimensional. Here's why. We can measure how far it goes this way, and we can measure how tall it is. I know that's a little confusing because we see three sides. Now, if I do this, now it's a three-dimensional shape. And we're going to talk, like I said, a lot more about those later. Here is a circle. It's two-dimensional. Now, it's a little difficult to show you what it is as a three-dimensional shape, but maybe this will help. Now, if you kind of look at it a certain way, it might look like a ball or a sphere. Now it's become three-dimensional. I know you all know what this is. It's a rectangle. If I do this, it becomes something with a very strange name. It can be called a rectangular prism or a cuboid. Don't worry about that. That's like 6th grade math. I don't know, maybe 5th grade, maybe 7th. We're not going to worry so much about the cuboid, but what we do need to know is the difference between two and three-dimensional shapes. You can pick up a three-dimensional shape. You can hold it. A two-dimensional shape is maybe like a square when it's drawn on paper or something like that. It'll become clear later. Let's move on. Okay, a two-dimensional shape is a shape with only length and width, like we said, and we're going to be looking at these 8. A circle, a triangle, a square, a rectangle, a pentagon, a hexagon, a parallelogram, and a trapezoid. Now, some of these you already know, and there are little clues hidden in the words. Like in triangle, tri means 3. And in pentagon, penta means 5. Hexa means 6. These are all Greek words. There's in rectangle, this is the rect that you see in the word, like correct, like it's proper. All the angles are nice and they're very easy to measure and to look at. They're perfect corners. And I'm going to tell you a special story about the trapezoid later. I think you'll really like it. You have to learn these 8 shapes. You have to learn their names. Don't worry about the spelling, especially of parallelogram. I know that's difficult. Like another long word with a P, like Plimenturus or something like that. All right, so it says circle the shapes that match the name. You don't have the paper in front of you. That's okay. Look at number 1. The parallelogram. Which one of these is it? And it might be more than one. We've got 4 shapes there. Look at the triangle. Number 2. Which ones there are triangles? Number 3. Write the name of the shape and circle the shape that matches. Number 3, what shape is that? Hopefully you've matched it to the shapes above. And I'm going to show you the answers. Okay, the parallelogram is a tricky one. It looks like a rectangle, except it's slanted a little bit. Okay, see how it doesn't go straight up and down? That's how you'll identify it. So we've got 2 parallelograms in number 1. Number 2 has 2 triangles, 3 sides, and it's got 3 angles. These are called angles. Okay, and we know this is a hexagon in number 3 because it's got 6 sides and 6 angles. 3, 4, 5, and 6. So if you look at the talk math at the bottom, what is the difference between a pentagon and a hexagon? How are they alike? Look at the pictures and then go tell somebody near you. Let's move on. For number 4, the word is trapezoid. Do you see any trapezoids in number 4? Number 5 says hexagon. Do you see any hexagons there? Number 6 and 7, triangle and pentagon. Can you draw the ones that you think are these shapes? Pause if you need time. Now let's look at the bottom. Write the name of the shape. Circle the shape that matches. You guys all know this. What is number 8? Of course, it's a triangle. And what's number 9? Great, it's a hexagon, but be careful. Hexagons and pentagons look very similar. And even if we rotate them, if we turn them on their side a little bit, they're still pentagons and hexagons. The shape doesn't change because we've turned it. Okay, so be careful. Now, numbers 10 and 11, circle the shape that does not belong in each group. So again, if I were you, I would try to draw these. Okay, so you can practice them. If you can draw them, you'll be able to identify them. Now I'm going to show you the answers. Okay, you just have to learn these 8 basic shapes, and I think you'll be okay for a while. Let's move on. All right, so for your homework, Now the homework I'm posting it for everybody to download if you can. It says do the homework for Chapter 12, Lesson 1. It's pages 743 to 744. You don't have them. If you need the pages sent to you by mail, I will definitely do it. Just have mom or dad send me a message, okay? I hope you enjoyed this little introduction to shapes. We're going to be having some fun with this. I love shapes. I miss you guys. I'm so happy to have your math brains here again, and hopefully we'll get to do shapes in person someday. See you later. The end.